Field rolling around the Five Flags Speedway in front of a jam-packed grandstand. A beautiful week of weather. We had until yesterday a couple of storms, but we're moments away from the start of the 300-lapper.
Final thoughts for some of our pit reporters. We welcome Jana Wimmer from the state of Wisconsin. Unfortunately, a little technical difficulty with Jana Wimmer's microphone. We'll get back to her in a minute. She was going to talk about Derek Thorne. That happens. This is live TV. And from my years of experience in the NASCAR garage area, we've seen that time and time again. There's your front row for the Snowball Derby. Hunter Robbins. Take a look at that fan right there. He's got his set of flags out, ready to wave the green flag today with Jeff Clark, the flag man, here at Five Flags Speedway.
Beautiful weather. You see that blue sky in the background. The coolest day we've had all week, and he's enjoying the weather, ready to see this race take a green in a couple of laps.
That is awesome. Really neat. I was walking through the grandstands on the way back up to the tower here, and I heard, "Daddy, Daddy," and it was neat to see my son Lucas there. Let's go back to Jana Wimmer, who's got more on Derek Thorne. Jana?
Go, Jana, make it quick. We have no Jana. Obviously, she has some microphone issues. So, unfortunately, Jana without Mike here today. Look at this. 1 to go signal, Bob. We're moments away from the start of the 47th running of the Snowball Derby.
What did I tell you before we came here this weekend? We've done this on radio for the past, 4 or 5 years. We can't fake it anymore because now we have the visual aspect to show everybody, a worldwide audience at home. Thank you so much to everybody on the Speed51.com staff and everybody here at Five Flags Speedway for making this possible. This is an honor to be able to bring you live coverage, a video broadcast for the first time. Nat sounds galore for the start of the Snowball Derby. How about that roar there? The 8 of John Hunter Nemechek battling with the 18 of Hunter Robbins, your pole sitter. But it's the 21 of Johanna Long that takes the early lead here in the Snowball Derby.
How about the run for Johanna that we've seen so far this weekend? Kind of surprising there on the front row, but I guess it shouldn't be. This is her hometown track.
That a battle for 5th on the racetrack. The 3 car, the ugly sweater car for Ross Kenseth. Just in front of him, the 98 of Daniel Hemrick, last year's Southern Super Series champion. And here comes the 51 of Eric Jones. That's the Kyle Busch Motorsports 51.
Yeah, and Eric Jones disappointed with his 10th place qualifying effort in a field of 62. You know you've got a good piece if you're disappointed with 10th out of 62 cars.
Absolutely. Chase Elliott in the 9 to the inside of the 51 of Jones. Those are 2 hot shots we're going to be talking about in the NASCAR ranks for so many years. The NASCAR Nationwide Series champion this year for Chase Elliott.
Double wide racing there as Chase Elliott runs the bottom. Jeff Chiquette in the 29 and Eric Jones trying out the second lane as they cross the line 7th, 8th, and 9th in the rundown.
Chiquette has had a fast race car in that Adrian Carrier's number 29 all weekend long.
Now we've singled out up front, and Johanna Long is putting some distance between herself. She's running away from the field.
Next time by as we continue to look at Johanna Long, extend her lead. Johanna Long in turn number 4. We're going to show you a speed shot coming up here. This is a cool shot in turn number 4. Look at this from the front stretch.
Flying by this jam-packed grandstands, and now you see some action between Augie Grill. He was strong for a while last night. Looked like he was going to pick up a win in the Snowflake. Daniel Hemrick. We've heard a lot of good things about Daniel Hemrick this week, and he's got a chance to prove it this afternoon.
Daniel Hemrick up to 4th. 5th is Hunter Robbins. Ross Kenseth is 6th.
Kenseth, the ugly sweater, number 3 car, running the bottom lane. Car looking smooth. The crew chief this weekend, Rich Lucius. He, of course, assisted at Winchester this year for the 400. They were very strong on that Sunday afternoon as well.
Ross Kenseth in the 3. Chase Elliott in the 9. the 18 of Hunter Robbins, and Robbins really slipping up here. Whoa, a little contact there between the 18 of Robbins and Chase Elliott. Chase had to check up because Robbins' car, I don't think that's to his liking in the early going.
Yeah, Ross and Robbins making the little tack down in turn 4 to allow the inside lane to open up for Elliott. 3-car battle heading off into the 3rd turn.
Hunter Robbins owns the 5th spot right now. There's your current top 10 at lap number 10. Just 10 laps into the 300-lap race here for the Snowball Derby. 4 sets of tires in all for these teams to use in this race.
And crew chiefs and pit crews and strategy and when to make that final pit stop later today. Tires so important here at Five Flags Speedway.
So happy to have our staff on hand on pit road today. Matt Prier, Jana Wimmer, Derek Perniciglio, Adam Mackey, and myself, Bob Dillner, up top calling the action here today. An honor that we have shared for the last half a decade here at Five Flags Speedway every December. Hunter Robbins in that black 18. I believe he's holding up the 3 of Ross Kenseth right now in a battle for 5th.
Yeah, Robbins drifting back a little bit early. A lot of times you see the pole sitter, obviously a good car on short runs, kind of run away as Johanna Long has here early on, but not the case for pole sitter Hunter Robbins.
Here comes Chiquette to the inside of Chase Elliott. Elliott smart enough to know, let's not race too hard at this juncture. Save those tires. We do know today there will be no longer than a 75-lap green flag run. If we go 75 consecutive green flag laps, race director Dan Spence will call a caution, a competition caution, to bottle up that field.
And we're going to have our first caution waving here at Five Flags Speedway. It is with 15 laps complete. And it's Mike Garvey, the Pensacola driver, in the 1 car. Bad break for Mike Garvey. Damaged the front end of that race car. It doesn't look like terrible damage, but it looks like the rear end may be shifted over as well.
I think you're right. That rear end might be shifted over a little bit. Mike Garvey, 52 years old. We heard him in the pre-race ceremonies. A lot of bad luck the last couple of years here. 12 starts in the Derby. This guy has won races all over the country. He only has 1 top 10 finish in this race.
See some of the unburned fuel in the exhaust coming out with a little bit of flame as he tries to get that car refired. Once it does, that flame will go away, but the number 1 of Garvey, part of our first caution flag. Oh, TJ Reed.
Wow, TJ Reed with a lot of front end damage on that race car, already on pit road. A bad deal. Let's go down to Derek Perniciglio with more. Unfortunately, the microphone's not working downstairs. We'll work on that. But TJ Reed ticked off. Climbs out of the car, and he's marching down to somebody. Let's follow him. He's marching down. Oh, man, he is mad. Can't see exactly who he was going up to, but he is talking to somebody on top of a box right there. Disgusted was TJ Reed over what happened so early into this race here, 17 laps into the Snowball Derby. Look at the front end of that machine. Just all wrecked up on the front end. Look at the frustration on TJ Reed's face.
Definitely disappointing. You want so much, a great start and a great finish in the Snowball Derby, and not a chance for that to happen today for the Ackworth, Georgia driver, TJ Reed, who had a very good car. Fought through some problems this week with mechanical issues, but I think he was set up for a pretty good run this afternoon.
And so was Mike Garvey in that Beef O'Brady's number 1. Just a lot of trouble for him. He had won some big races down here to set himself up for a good weekend at Five Flags Speedway. And trouble for this team all weekend long. A wrecked race car for Mike Garvey, for the Tracy Goodson team. And last night, Brayton Hawes and the Alan Turner Snowflake 100 had a wrecked race car as well. A team car to Mike Garvey, but him in the Pro Late Model Wars.
You know, surprisingly last night, the Snowflake itself, or earlier this morning, shortly before 5 o'clock when the race finished, went pretty smoothly. With some of the races leading up to it, the Pro Truck race a little rough and took over an hour and a half to complete that 50-lapper, and of course with the 2 rain delays pushed us back. But all in all, the Snowflake race, despite all of the youth, was very clean last night for the 100-lapper. You see the tow truck crew hooking up the Beef O'Brady's number 1 of Mike Garvey here under our first caution with 18 laps complete of the Snowball Derby.
Was involved in that crash early in the race. A tough break right in the beginning. You looked really upset. What happened? The 42, I don't know what he was doing. Lap 20 of a 300-lap race, and he just turns the one car down there getting into one, just didn't have anywhere to go. I hate it for my guys. We had a really good car there. You just kind of riding, like everybody else is out here. I just don't understand what his logic was there, but it's just heartbreaking.
How bad is the damage? Can you make it back out and make up some laps?
No, it's busted the radiator and knocked the ductwork out of it, so we're done for this year.
Well, that's a tough break for TJ Reed in the number 41. He finds himself out early. Back up to you guys.
Way too much damage to TJ Reed's race car. The leader of this race, though, so far, a former winner of this Snowball Derby, Johanna Long.
Johanna has been strong over the first 16 laps or so of green. We've run about 5 under caution here. We're past the lap 20 mark of the Snowball Derby. Here in 2014, Johanna Long hasn't raced a bunch over the last year or so. We saw her in a good number of nationwide starts a year or two ago, and of course that was kind of brought on by that 2010 Snowball Derby win that was so exciting here at Five Flags Speedway.
10 drivers in today's field making their first start in the Snowball Derby. Just some of the little nuggets being handed to me by 51's third turn. Tim Quiverin, thank you so much for some of those stats here today. The average age for a snowball driver, 28 years old.
I would have liked to have seen the average age last night in the Snowflake. They were a lot of rookies that tried to qualify. 46 rookies tried to qualify for the Snowflake.
What have I said all week long about some of those teenagers in that field last night?
They can't even shave.
Exactly.
They can, but it doesn't do them any good.
No, it doesn't do any good. Absolutely not. 22 laps already in the books here. I don't believe we're going to see any pit stops until at least around the lap 65 to lap 85 juncture of this race. By the way, just handed a note, neither Reed nor Garvey have been running at a finish of the Snowball Derby since 2009. That's the reason why TJ Reed will not continue as he looks at the damage on his 41 car.
Yeah, when he said he was done, he wasn't kidding. Look at all of the severe damage, everything pushed up into the engine compartment on that number 41. And Reed, a driver who has had a lot of big wins, and I think a win like this could really be a big breakthrough win for a driver like TJ Reed, but he's always a threat.
Absolutely. Always a super fast race car every single week. That's the Adrian Carrier's team down here, ready for pit stops a little later on today. They've looked pretty sharp down there, actually, too.
They do. Well dressed. Jeff Chiquette and his team right now running in the 7th position here early on. Continue to roll under caution as track crews and officials get everything ready to go for the restart coming up shortly. It's been a fun week, Bob.
It has.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely. In fact, it's been such a big week. It actually all went back to a lot of different things that we've been able to do this week around the Pensacola area. It started last week at Flomaton Speedway, about 45 minutes from here on the dirt track, the Gulf Coast Dirt Track Championships. And it's been so interesting to watch that. We're 1 lap to go. We'll have some highlights, actually, from some of the activities that we had a little later on today during this race.
Hear the sound of the engine start to rev up as they jump up into double file formation following that Five Flags Speedway Alan Turner pace car around the big oval here in Pensacola, and they are ready to go. They are not giving much room between themselves and the pace car.
They did that last night, too, a little bit, really up on the rear bumper of that Alan Turner Hyundai right there, the pace car for Five Flags Speedway. I got a chance to peek at next year's car, pretty darn sharp. Here they come off of turn number 4. The jump certainly goes to Johanna Long, but here comes John Hunter Nemechek in that 8 on the outside, and Augie Grill is ready to go on the attack in the 112.
Augie Grill was strong mid-race last night in the Snowflake. Right now in the Snowball, finds himself in the 3rd position. They're starting 4th.
Look at that, almost 3 wide there. They climb to the back bumper of the 112 of Augie Grill, Daniel Hemrick in the 98, and the 18 of Hunter Robbins.
Hemrick showing up to be pretty strong here early on, and he's put his car in the 2nd groove through 1 and 2, and it looked like it worked out pretty well.
After practice yesterday, everybody thought that Daniel Hemrick was probably the best car in the field. So Hemrick, a very strong competitor. A lot of people believe that he could be the winner at the end of the day today.
You see Jeff Chiquette as well as Ross Kenseth and Eric Jones. Those are 3 drivers that might battle it out right down the stretch. And Chad Finley, good run early on to the low side of Chase Elliott.
A lot of big names in this field. Chad Finley Certainly not one that's just commonplace around America, but he's making a name for himself. A 4-time winner on the CRA Jegs All-Stars Tour out of DeWitt, Michigan.
Of course, the son of Jeff Finley, a longtime veteran racer with a lot of accolades over the years, and Chad has been very good in some selected starts over the last couple of seasons.
Bubba Pollard in the Jegs number 26 right there. Man, he's had miserable luck in the Snowball Derby. And to change that, he changed his philosophy for this race. He'd always brought a brand new race car down to this weekend. Well, they decided not to do that because it's been, as they said, bad luck. So they brought their tried and true race car, the race car that they won many times down in the panhandle of Florida and all around the country with. That's this race car right here with the 26 of Pollard.
He sees that number 9 of Chase Elliott closing in, and now we've got DJ Vanderlei, Grant Enfinger. We've seen Vanderlei compete for a Snowball Derby victory in one of the exciting ones years ago. Moving forward, Derek Griffin and Donnie Wilson.
Vanderlei was running in the 17th spot. You see Derek Griffin in the 95 running 13th. Donnie Wilson said he was going to pace himself. Donnie Wilson, I didn't even know he knew how to pace himself. That guy is right to the floor all the time.
And he's usually a very, very good qualifier. Donnie Wilson started inside of row number 9 here today, so pacing himself, but yet trying to stay on the lead lap if we get a long green flag run is his goal.
Absolutely. Derek Griffin, Donnie Wilson, 13th and 14th on the racetrack. Just behind them, Derek Thorne in the 43. Derek Thorne, one of the California kids trying to make the Snowball Derby. He was the only California kid to do so. But that girl right there, the 21 of Johanna Long, her first laps led here at the Snowball Derby since she last won it a few years ago.
She didn't lead a lot that day, but she led some very important ones right at the end. Hemrick to the inside of Augie Grill to battle for third.
Hemrick's got the run, and he's got the car, certainly with that 98 car. We all think Daniel Hemrick will wind up being in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series next year. He wants that Tom Dawson Trophy, has won a lot of big races in super late model competition. He gets the spot. Daniel Hemrick up to third.
And right behind him, saw it come into your screen, Jeff Chiquette in the 29 has moved into the top 5. He started 14th. He's up to 5th.
Chiquette is a man on a mission. He loves to lead laps, but sometimes that has been to his demise. Wears out the tires a lot, and he has seen that in previous Snowball Derby attempts, but we'll see how it pans out for that car here today. The 8 of John Hunter Nemechek right there lurking in second, and he told me that he was planning a patient game today, especially after only getting an hour and a half sleep last night because the Alan Turner Snowflake 100 finished at 4:30 a.m. By the time they got back to the hotel, not much rest time for John Hunter.
Or for anybody else that was competing in the races last night as well. And John Hunter, I know one place he does not want to finish today. Second, he wants the win.
Ty Majeski in the 91 car, the ARCA Midwest Tour champion. The black and white car, Cole Tim in the 57, just in front of them. They're trying to march their way through the field right now.
Last chance race transfers from one night ago as we go back up to second and third, and Daniel Hemrick showing his muscle early in this race.
Hemrick looking really good, but you got to wonder how much you should charge and at what time as he tries to stick his nose underneath the rear bumper of Nemechek.
I think it was just about underneath the rear bumper entering turn 3 from the view I saw, and he's ready to make a move for that runner-up spot.
Nemechek so good in his limited appearances in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The 99 of Casey Smith goes under DJ Vanderlei. That is a battle for 18th on the racetrack, and the 99 has it. Here comes Corey LaJoie in the 07.
Corey LaJoie, a driver that's been very good all week. First start, brand new car, never been on the track, and Corey LaJoie is making his way forward, and pretty impressive run for a driver that hasn't run a whole lot of super late model races.
Back up to second. There's Nemechek, and there's the 98 of Hemrick. Hemrick still stalking him, but Nemechek just running a couple feet up above the apron here, and that gives him just enough momentum to get off the corner.
He's definitely running a different lane than Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick kind of pinching the car a little bit more, goes in lower, comes off lower, and Nemechek kind of keeping the momentum up, taking a wider stance through the corners, and seems to be working out nicely for both. Though Johanna Long is still turning lap after lap, the quickest laps on the track. She's the only driver in the 16-second bracket and she's doing it by about 2/10.
The battle of the 11s right there. David Rogers making his 30th Snowball Derby attempt, and Logan Boyette, the hometown boy, trying to get the job done here. Just behind that, the 88 of Garrett Jones, a former Pro Late Model champion here from Five Flags Speedway.
Boyette really brought it off of turn 4 sideways after Rogers made the pass, his 30th start in the Snowball Derby. So many races he started here at Five Flags. We've seen him a lot running at Speed Weeks, too. You can always expect to see him at New Smyrna in February.
Anderson Bowen in the 29, a two-time winner on the Southern Super Series this year. One of the young hotshots coming through the ranks out of Suwanee, Georgia. Bowen trying to get that spot on Garrett Jones. That's a battle for 26.
Just about the 1-6 mark of this race already. One caution flag coming early on around the lap 15 mark, and 47 laps complete now in the Snowball Derby.
A long green flag run. You need to show patience at this juncture of the race, so it'll be interesting, especially if you're a young kid, to see whether they can use that egg underneath the throttle and not burn up those tires.
And Anderson Bowen, who had to start nearly last, back in the 29th, back in the 18th row on the inside lane. He's up to 26th position. Boyette right in front of him, and back up front, second and third on the screen.
Next time by, it'll be 50 laps in the books. 250 to go here at Five Flags Speedway. There is Eric Jones to the inside of Hunter Robbins. Jones gets the spot, move him up to 7th.
Eric Jones seems to be really pacing himself right now. I thought he might get to the front in a hurry, but the field's so tight. So
look at that
close.
contact
Whoa.
between Pollard and Robbins. Pollard just moves Hunter Robbins out of the way. Wow.
He was holding him up.
I guess so.
Got to go, even though it's pretty early in the race for Bubba Pollard, and maybe changing his Snowball Derby weekend luck around with the Snowflake win last night.
Definitely an aggressive move by Bubba Pollard. The 18 of Robbins continues to slip back just a little bit. Robbins back to 9th. Chase Elliott runs 10th.
What point of this race do you look at as the key for a car and when it's running well? Maybe mid-race, or do we have to wait even longer than that?
Need to wait a little bit longer than that because the temperatures are going to cool off even more. The track really rubbers up here. So I say 3/4 of the way through the race. Right now, honestly, if you're a smart race driver, you're just riding. You're trying to stay in that top 20.
So right around 225, you're going to say this guy, and this guy are the ones that can possibly win it. Or, of course, this girl who's leading the race, Johanna Long, out front, comfortably leading early on.
Absolutely. Back up front. Second place, John Hunter Nemechek. We're not showing you Johanna Long, but she's just checked out from the field. There's the 26 of Preston Peltier. He is now a lap down. Back to a little bit further back in the field. Some damage to the front end of the 88 of Garrett Jones as Mark Krause in the 9 goes around him. So trouble. Some contact on the racetrack between Jones and somebody else. The 42 of Dennis Prunty. There's the 91 of Ty Majeski.
And Garrett Jones most likely just waiting for a caution so he can come in and get the repairs on the front end of that 88.
He's going to have to hang on for a while to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek. Here comes Daniel Hemrick in the 98. That's the battle for second. Hemrick finally has the inside groove.
He's been looking underneath him for a number of laps, and right now he's about to pull it off, and off the corner will close the door on John Hunter Nemechek. 51 TV coverage of the 47th Annual Snowball Derby, brought to you in part by Quick Car. Quick Car racing products dedicated to new products, saving racers money and improving the performance and life expectancy of their race cars. Visit quickcar.com today. And by Advanced Racing Suspensions. Advanced Racing Suspensions has been providing superior shocks to you for over 20 years. Every shock is dyno tested to maintain the tightest tolerance in the industry. Visit advancedracing.net.
And there's Garrett Jones on pit road. He had to bring that 88 machine down there. Too much front end. You had some damage to the front end that was causing a rub on the right front tire, so at least a 2-tire stop. Look at this, a battle for the lead right now. Hemrick to the inside of Johanna Long. Give Hemrick the lead in the Snowball Derby.
Daniel Hemrick may be the busiest driver that has started this Snowball Derby today. Crew chiefing, turning wrenches, tutoring a driver in the Pro Late models with that number 9 all weekend long, and now the 98 car that he actually wheels himself is out front 60 laps into the books.
How about that? Daniel Hemrick to the front of this field. This kid has so much talent. We have seen him from Bandoleros, And now here to the Super Late Models Modified Competition. Legends Million winner, just 23 years old out of North Carolina.
And he's only made this now his third snowball start. His best finish is 20th, so really looking for a breakthrough, at least snowball derby-wise.
Absolutely, and a big win this year at Anderson Speedway in the Redbud 300.
He has won some big races. He's won championships, and right now he's lapping cars and some pretty good ones at that.
Absolutely. You speak of the 98, Hemrick winning the Redbud 300, a former Redbud 300 winner just in front of him in Steve Durer, who is just happy to be in today's big dance because he hasn't qualified for this event a couple of times.
Hemrick looking to the low side of Durer, the race car engineering car. Oh, one of our major contenders. The ugly sweater number 3 of Ross Kenseth has come to a stop. Unfortunate break for Ross Kenseth on our front stretch.
Man. He won the best appearing car on Speed51.com, presented by Speed Media.
Kenseth, a Little Chute, Wisconsin driver, comes to a stop and either losing power or just wanting a yellow to make a pit stop. We'll see what Ross Kenseth does here shortly, but Kenseth definitely some issues on the 3.
Let's see, we're about 64 laps into this one. Remember, I said if I were a driver, I'd probably want to pit around lap 65 to 85 for my first pit stop sequence. So we'll take a look at that. Let's go down to Jana Wimmer now with a report from pit road.
Yeah, guys, Ross Kenseth came over the radio and he said he felt a really bad vibration. It felt like something was going to fall off. That was just 2 laps before he came to a stop on the track. He is on his way down pit road now. He pulls in, he stops. The crew is jacking up the right side of the car. They have the hood coming off. At one point, he said his water temp was 210. That might be a little high. They are taking a look under the hood, going to see what they can do to get this number 3 car back out there. Guys?
You can see the ugly sweater working on the Ross Kenseth. Look at the right front tire changer.
Look at Rich Lucius up there barking out orders. Not too happy with what's going on, but trouble for Ross Kenseth.
And he's one of the major contenders.
You can come from a lap down and win this race. You can do it. Charlie Bradbury did it back in 2003, I believe.
Got the free pass throughout the course of the race on cautions if you're the first driver 1 lap down, and Kenseth's going to have to work hard for it today, but the driver of the number 3, one of the favorites in this one, comes to a stop, brings out the yellow, and now makes pit stops, tire changes, and looks like adjustments going on underneath the hood of that number 3 car. So strong in the Snowball Derby was the Winchester 400 was the driver of the 3, Ross Kenseth, and now trying to match that effort. Rich Lucius actually coming off the box. The crew chief looking and diagnosing the problem as well.
As we continue to look at Ross Kenseth.
They had great racing there. Scotty Ellis on pit road, one of our top 10 starters. Scotty Ellis, Ty Majeski, Garrett Jones all making pit stops. Anderson Bowen, Kyle Plott, they've all gone to the pits as well. And also in the pits, Derek Perniciglio. Take it, Derek.
All right, now I'm down in the pit areas of the 07 of Corey LaJoie, the number 11 of Logan Boyette. Those cars have yet to hit their pit stalls yet, but all of the crews have all the equipment out right now. They're going to do a 2-tire change on Logan Boyette's car. They're also going to make some adjustments on the 07 machine of Corey LaJoie. They just haven't gotten to us yet down here on pit road, so we are waiting. The crews are also patiently waiting for both of these drivers to show up here so they can make the necessary changes that they need to on these race cars. Corey LaJoie's car, not to his liking. The thing was stepping out a little bit when he got in the throttle coming off the corners. So, Tony Uri Jr. on top of the pit box along with Jeff Fultz keeping an eye on Corey LaJoie. Now we're going to go up pit road to Jana Wimmer.
Yeah, guys, not a lot of takers on my end of pit road. I have a lot of cars running up there in the top 10. They stayed out on the racetrack, but Ross Kenseth is still on pit road. The crew is looking at the right front of that car. His window net just came down. Ross Kenseth disappointed in how his Snowball Derby seems to be ending. They had a problem with their right front hub, window net down, and he is now driving back into the pits. It appears his day is done, guys.
Tough break for Ross Kenseth. He will pull that number 3 machine. That ugly sweater car behind pit road. Unfortunate for him here at the Snowball Derby.
And kind of changed the number, looking for better success, looking for a change of luck this year. It's not that he hasn't run well, he just hasn't run well enough to win in 2014. And the 3 from a 77 that he ran all year long, not good enough to change his luck today. Ross Kenseth eliminated from the Snowball Derby.
Daniel Hemrick, your leader. We're to come back in just a second. It's time to take a break on 51 TV, and we'll be back to Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida in just a minute.
Yeah, I'm down here with Ross Kenseth. Ross, what happened out there?
I just had a long run there, and I had a bad vibration about halfway through lap 50 or so, and kept getting worse. I had another Bassett wheel brake, which should have known better. I've had probably 15 of those things happen to me in the past couple of years, but that made the upper come loose. Upper almost fell off. So car's in one piece, but it's just a shame. Something that's avoidable, something like that. But I mean, we had a good car, but it doesn't matter much when you can't get past lap 50.
Obviously disappointing. How disappointed are you right now? You said obviously this is something that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean that's something that just shouldn't happen. It's quality control from the product, and we had all new wheels here. What happened through the year, so something like that with no contact shouldn't let air out like that. But it's disappointing. It's one of the biggest races of the year, with some of the best drivers, and to have a car that we had all weekend to make it 70 laps is inexcusable.
Ross Kenseth very disappointed. Thought he had a car that contend. We'll send it down pit road to Derek.
Actually back up here in the booth. Getting ready to go green once again. On the outside is Johanna Long, but your leader now, and he chooses the inside because he does get the choice of inside or outside, is Daniel Hemrick.
Daniel making the pass for the lead not long before our second caution flag, and he's going to get on the go pedal over in the starting box in turn 4 and jump out front. Johanna Long not getting a good start in the outside lane.
No, maybe buzzing her tires just a little bit. Here comes Augie Grill past her as well. Johanna Long losing a lot of spots on the outside, but she's just trying to protect that race car at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and she would like to get down as soon as possible. She was so strong early on, you wonder if she used up a lot of the tires. It took a good while, but around lap 60 or so, they really started to run her down.
Early in this race, you mentioned she led a bunch of laps. She's now led more laps today than in her 6 previous Snowball Derbies. Look at Chase Elliott manhandle that car coming off of turn number 4 in the 9.
Chase Elliott crossed the line in first in last year's Snowball Derby. I think that's what makes this one so much more important for Chase Elliott after dominating like he did last year, having the post-race tech infraction.
Did you see that? I'm sorry. Contact right there. Hunter Robbins, he's been involved in some contact. That was with Kyle Grissom in the 31 as we continue to look at the 9 and the 26 of Pollard and Elliott.
Bound to have a little bit of contact. Over 30 cars in our starting field here today. And right now, Chase Elliott and Bubba Pollard changing hands with positions. And that was her 7th spot. Chase Elliott clears them by the line.
Chase Elliott, 1 year ago, crossed the finish line first. And then, of course, that Snowball Derby win taken away from him. Tungsten violation in post-race tech. You can't have tungsten as an add-on weight. It has to be lead, and the team here found it, and unfortunately for him, took that Snowball Derby, the Tom Dawson Trophy, away from him.
And we all know that it probably didn't make the big difference that helped him win last year, but a rule is a rule, and they do that to keep the cost down. Tungsten so very expensive.
And we mentioned the 31 of Grissom and the 18 of Robbins making contact a little while ago. There they run on the racetrack. Hunter Robbins, your pole sitter, back to 9th. Grissom running 10th.
And if you're Robbins, you want to just stick around the top 10, top 12 right now as we take a look at our top 10 rundown with 80 laps complete. Daniel Hemrick, of course, leading the way and strong on these long runs today. John Hunter Nemechek in second. Augie Grill, Jeff Chiquette. Very good run from somewhat deep in the field, and Eric Jones finds himself in the top 5.
Johanna Long, Chase Elliott, Bubba Pollard, Hunter Robbins, and Kyle Grissom round out your top 10, 80 laps into this 300-lap race.
Been able to single out the first half of our field or so. I know a lot of drivers will start getting nervous 10, 15 laps into the run deep in the pack as they are threatened to go a lap down.
Some people on top of the pit box watching their drivers here today, taking times, watching to see how